It feels like nothing could touch me. No one could come into my space and get me down because I've just gone out and ran. Whether it's 3 miles or 26 miles or a mile, all of that should be celebrated because it's tough. One side of my brain is telling me you can't do it, and the other side of my brain is telling me that I can. You want the side of your brain that's telling you can't to win. So when you finish, it's kind of like a aha moment. But running to me is very much mental. There's such a correlation for me anyways between my running journey and just my life journeys. And I just haven't had a sport really challenge me as much as running has and has brought me as much joy as running has. My name is LizRock, and my life is a beautiful resistance, not only because I'm a Black woman who runs marathons and cycles long distance, but because I am constantly fighting for my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual and emotional well-being on a daily basis.
What inspired you to create Trailblazers, and what exactly is it?
So Trailblazers was started in 2020. And it basically stemmed off of an event that me and my 2 friends, Francis and Obeo, created called the Bra Run. 3 years ago, I went out for a run, and it was sometime in June, and it was extremely hot outside. And I was having this internal battle with myself to take off the damn shirt and run in your sports bra, you're about to pass out. And I ran home all the way still wearing my shirt. And that crushed me, knowing that I didn't have the confidence enough in my body and the work that I've done to just take off the shirt and run in a sports bra. So we've hosted the Bra Run for 3 years in Boston, and it's basically, giving the middle finger to society, and sometimes to talk to ourselves that no matter what shape and size you are, it's okay to just move. Because to me, movement, there's so much power in progress and movement. And women would always ask us, are you guys gonna create any more events? So finally, we took the step to create Trailblazers last year.
And it's Trailblaze Hers.
Trailblaze Hers, yes.
Happy Valentine's Day! Happy Self-Care Sunday! Yeah. And happy Black History Month!
Yeah.
Black History Month is every month.
That's right.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Creating these spaces where Black women can see themselves in is super important, and that's why representation matters so much.
Historically, we've been hurt by the healthcare system,
right,
and priced out of gyms, and had our neighborhoods stripped of even natural resources like parks and things that allow us to get out and run and jump and have fun. But I think a lot about what it means to be Black and in public spaces. Mm-hmm. What does it mean for you to be a Black woman and to take up so much public space with other Black people on the streets of Boston?
It's empowering. It's joy. It's creating our own narrative. It's showing the world that we do show up for ourselves and you can't do anything about it because we're going to move forward regardless. It's creating a community. It's creating happiness. It's creating network. It's creating sisterhood. It's just creating progress.
Tell me about your first marathon, because haven't you ran like some of the biggest marathons in the world?
I am trying to get the world majors, which is Berlin, Tokyo, Boston, New York, Chicago, and London. And I've run 4 marathons, and I have Tokyo and Berlin left to do to get the cool medal.
And when was your first marathon?
My first marathon was 2017, and it was the Boston Marathon.
So in barely 3 years, you've already run most of the majors.
Yes.
Girl! Goal. What does that representation mean? Like, you're gonna run all 6. You will be the Ivy of marathons, you know, the elite.
Right.
I know that it's important to you, but as you know, so often it becomes important to other people.
Right.
Like, you're being the thing you want to see.
Right.
Why is that important?
It's important because I want my niece to see me and know that she could do it. The marathon bug was planted in my head by one of my coworkers who is white, and I would love for, and there's nothing wrong with that because I'm doing amazing things, but I would love for my niece to have that planted in her head because she's seen a woman who looked like her, who could relate to her.
Beautiful Resistance centers Black joy, and it's definitely a tool of the revolution. But something I've been thinking about is how we can't really fully have joy if we aren't well.
Right.
How is wellness a tool of resistance?
Wellness has never really been accessible to people of color, to women of color, and really pouring into our overall wellness, and that goes for all aspects of ourselves. So when I'm talking about spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, like really digging deep to, you know, break those barriers and really know ourselves, to me, that's wellness.
Wellness and fitness have been sanitized and restricted and almost like a form of capitalism to make it look a certain way. Right. You know, you must be rail thin and have these particular tights on and at this exclusive gym. Right. Tell me how that has played into the safe space you've created with Trailblazers.
What you just said kind of like, it sparks a fire inside of my soul because I know how it felt to not have these safe spaces where I could be authentically Liz.
We are disproportionately people who have side gigs,
right.
side hustles,
right.
2 jobs,
right.
trying to take care of everybody around us. And there's also grind culture plus superwoman culture where it's
right.
like, you're not hurting.
Right.
You know, you don't need to take medicine, you're fine, keep
right.
going. I'll see the doctor next month.
Right.
How have you changed the narrative for yourself?
It's hard because, like you said, there is grind culture, and as a Black woman, I feel like I need to be doing everything. I feel like I can't, sometimes I feel like I can't just take a break. I feel like if I'm not moving in all aspects of my life, then I must be failing, which is completely not true. Honestly, it's a work in progress. I don't think I've fully freed myself of that narrative because, you know, you grow up in an immigrant family. I grew up Haitian, I'm Haitian American, and I grew up in Watertown. So there was privilege all around me, and my family did not have that privilege at all. It was always grind. You had to grind to survive. And that mentality has been really rooted into my soul. So it's something that I'm constantly battling with to break that.
Tell me about the Black history you carry with you.
My grandmother was like the pillar of our family. She held us all together. She was so strong. She is someone who I still aspire to be till this day. And her journey from Haiti to America was very challenging. She had 8 kids that she had to bring to America to live a better life. You know, it was survival mode 24/7. And when she came from Haiti, they had moved to Watertown. And that was really white. And we were just living in a small apartment, you know, a bunch of us in 1 bedroom, you know what I mean? But like, when I think back, those have to be like one of my best memories ever, especially with her. She pushed us forward so much and she sacrificed. And I think that's something that a lot of immigrant parents do and grandparents do, is they sacrifice their own self-care, sacrifice their own needs to help better the next generation. And that's what my grandmother did for me fully. So when she passed away from health complications, that really woke me up. I weighed 350 pounds at the time, and my health was declining pretty quickly. And her passing away was the wake-up call that I unfortunately needed to, I guess, get moving.
Okay, we're not gonna go over that. So this is our second stop, ladies, and we're gonna highlight Phyllis Whitley today. Woo! Yeah. Clap it up for her. Yeah. So Phyllis was born in West Africa and sold as a slave from the ship Phyllis in colonial Boston. She became a literary prodigy. Her 1773 volume Poems on Various Subjects, Religion and Moral, was the first book published by an African American in America. So let's clap it up for her. Yeah. She's a great example of what a trailblazer is. Oh my goodness. I have no clue. I was so happy when I saw you though.
What does Black joy mean to you?
Really fighting for our freedom. We have been told to stay silent, so doing things like music, dancing, being able to express ourselves is Black joy.
There's so much struggle and brutality. The least we can do is have some joy. How do you love yourself? What is your self-care, mind, body, spirit routine?
Right. This, I've been getting down lately, so pat stuff on the back. Honestly, seeing a therapist, which helps me with past traumas and just my mental health. Spiritually, I've been trying to get closer to God and praying more. Physically, just movement. Movement is power and progress to me. So as long as I'm moving, in my head, I'm taking forward steps. Even if they're small, I'm clapping myself in the back for that. And putting myself first, and that's really hard for me to do because I would do things for other people before I would do it for myself. So really reflecting, pausing, and putting myself first in all situations and thinking about my needs first have been super beneficial for just my overall emotions.
To me, courage is not the absence of fear. Strength is not the absence of fear. Right. It's like, I'm scared, but I'm gonna try this anyways. Right. I'm sad, but I'm gonna get up and do this anyways. Right. That is kind of like the flag I wanna plant. Like, you know, we can have our joy even when it hurts, even when things are hard, we can grasp for that and grasp for our wellness. Right.
I believe in doing things scared, right? I know how it feels to not love yourself. I know how it feels to be in the darkest of spaces because your insecurities are so deeply rooted inside of you. You feel like you can't get out of it, right? Like, I know how it feels to be hurt. I know how it feels to not be wanted. I know how it feels to be in spaces that are not celebrating you. And I guess with my platform and with Trailblazers and the Bra Run, I just want women to show up. I just want women to just like bear it all, you know what I mean? And I think there's like power in numbers, and this is why I believe in community.
To me, if all you can do day to day is make it, then you're doing great.
Right.
How has the pandemic affected your journey and the way you move?
Last year was super, super tough for me. You know, you talked about rest, and last year really showed me that I didn't know what that meant. Because in the beginning, before the pandemic hit, I was all over the place, and then everything stopped, and then, you have to face yourself in the mirror because you don't have all these distractions. Then you're seeing everyone on Instagram, like, running and learning another language and cooking and doing all these things, and I'm like, I can't, like, I don't have the energy to do this. One thing that I took away from the pandemic that I could truly thank the pandemic for is holistic wellness. It really made me dig deep into all aspects of who I am.
What are you running toward?
I am running towards freedom. I am constantly running towards self-love. I am running towards building a community.